Just got a delivery today from Defender Marine, and I got to show you, I already cut the straps, but check this out. We got a new AC going on the boat today. So we're going to pull this out, we're going to take it down to the marina, and we're going to get this thing installed in the boat. We're going to go get busy. Time to get to work. Get this AC installed, along with a few other projects. Let's go. So the first part of this is getting the old unit out. I've already removed the ducting, just snipped a couple of zip ties that were holding it on and moved it out of the way. And you can see what we have. This is the inlet, so I'm going to have to find the seacock, get that closed. And then of course you have the drain for the condensation pan. And then you can see over here why we're replacing this to begin with. Nice little duct tape job of protecting the wires going to the compressor. See, the control box is completely shot. So obviously the AC is no good. We're going to yank this thing out. We're going to get it replaced. And then this is going to the thermostat. We'll use that as a fish wire to run the new wire to the new thermostat. These are the wires going to the raw water pump, and that's coming in from power. Easily, all I have to do is close the seacock for the intake line. There is a seacock for the exit, although I don't think it should matter because that's above the water line, but we'll close them both off. Then we can pull that, pull this, and we can take the whole unit out, and then the new one's just to drop in. I did bring something that I'm going to be installing for the new unit, an EasyStart Flex from Microair. It's basically a soft starter for the AC, so we'll be able to run the AC on battery power fairly easily. But that's going to be going in as well. So.
All right, I guess I need to clear the table.
I'm going to take it out that way.
Okay.
Light, that's for sure. Well, now that we got the AC out, Carmen's down there cleaning everything. I've had this in stores for a while now, and I've been meaning to put it in. These guys don't sponsor me, but Bilge-b-dry, I bought this kit. I paid for it, so this is not a sponsorship. These guys didn't sponsor anything. I got 3 pickups for it. We've got 2 different sections of our bilge in this boat. I'm going to put one in each one of those sections, and then the third one is going to go in the engine bay, because I've noticed that when water does get in the engine bay, it doesn't drain easily into the bilge. While we've got the floor opened up, I'm going to go ahead and put this in. It should be fairly quick. We're working on that Bilge-b-dry, and I'm going to mount the pump down in the upper level of the bilge, but I need to run a drain line that it uses. I am going to tap in, since I'm working on the AC anyway, I'm going to tap into the outlet for the AC. I just tapped in with a T and a piece of 3/8 with a little hose barb, and I'm going to go right into the 1/4 inch line that I've got that goes down to the pump. Is that the right size? Looks like it. I was right. Look at that.
Wow.
All right, cool. I think we can close all this up, put some tools away, call it good. All right, we're back on the boat down here in the bilge, and thought I would explain the AC system a little bit. We have two ACs on Vanishing Point, one in the aft stateroom, and then a larger unit up here in the salon that conditions the air for this room as well as the two forward staterooms. They're very simple units. The one that was on Vanishing Point originally was 20 years old. It was an old 12,000 BTU unit. The new one is 16,000 BTU, and they've done quite a few upgrades to it. They've gotten away from using some of the corrosive metals that would deteriorate over time, and then replaced it with a lot of stainless steel, which is great because the unit will last a whole lot longer. But they're also much more efficient. Just moving up from 12,000 to 16,000 BTU is going to make a massive difference. But I thought I would go over a little bit about what's involved in doing this. If you have an old marine AC unit on your boat now, swapping it out for a newer one, particularly if you're going from an old Cruisair or Dometic now, I think they stopped using the Cruisair name, but if you've got one of their older units and you just want to upgrade it to a new one, don't be afraid to do it because it's a very simple replacement. It's basically plug and play as long as you're aware of what or how the system works. It's very easy to do. Just to give you an overview, if you're not familiar, even if you don't have an AC, it's not that difficult a project. If you don't have an AC currently, the one thing that you would have to do is get a new through hull in the boat, and it needs to be down low in the bilge somewhere because you need raw seawater coming into the boat to cool the system. On Vanishing Point, this is the raw water intake with a, you can't really see it behind this hose, but there is a seacock down there. And it comes into this raw water pre-filter because you don't want a lot of junk going through the system. And then it goes into this pump, which is a magnetic pump, basically. I don't even know if this pump is going to work yet. We're going to have to wire it up and see. Looks like I need to replace some of those clamps. But anyway, I'll get that done. We're going to wire this thing up and see if this pump even works. This pump is not very expensive in relation to everything else you can buy on a boat, but it's basically just a raw water pump that draws water from outside the boat, circulates it through the AC underneath this floorboard, through the AC, which will be in this cabinet behind the table legs, and then out through a seacock up there. Very simple. And this pump is controlled by the control box on the AC, which I'll show you here in a little bit. The AC has basically 4 connections. It's got a raw water intake, a raw water exit. You've got the wiring from your power source, and then you got the wiring from the control box to the pump. Fairly simple. And then, of course, you have a thermostat that you have to plug in. But we're going to get this done today, and I'm hoping that it's going to be a fairly quick install because we've already got the old unit out, as you saw. And while we're doing that, we put in that Bilge-b-dry pump that I showed you a little while ago. I mounted it right here, high up in the bilge, and then way down in the bilge, you can see a pickup here, and then I've got a pickup in the bilge over here, and then I'm putting one back there in the engine room just in case. Pretty cool. And that was a very simple install. One wire and a couple of hoses that go down into the bilge. This one wire is wired directly to my 12-volt house battery, which is right over here. And then the pump runs automatically. You set it up on a schedule, and it basically runs a couple of minutes every, 6 hours, whatever you want it to do. Very simple. And it's really cool. It seems to be doing a great job. Still a little bit of water down there in the very bottom of the bilge, but you can see all the keel bolts are dry now. I need to get in there and clean them up, but I'm real pleased. It's going to be a big improvement. Not that we get a lot of water in this bilge, but there is some just because of condensation and stuff. So that'll get it all dried out. Anyway, happy with that. Let's get started on the AC. All right, first thing I had to do was put some hose clamps on the lines for this dry bilge that I put in. I've got that done. That's all out of the way. This is the wiring for the new AC. And then I've got to run that. I got to pull that and put in the new thermostat. So the unit's going right here. And I think that they have turned the unit around a little bit so that the exhaust or the raw water output is coming from the other side of the unit from the original unit. So I went up and found some more tubing so that I can run that around to the other side of the unit. And I think I've got more than enough now, so just got to put that on the output line. And then we can bring the unit in and start loading it into the cabinet, I think. I'm going to get this really soft because it's a tight fit on that barb. Oh yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Easy peasy. Double up these clamps, since I definitely don't want these leaking. Put this under here, and I'll bring that unit in and set it in place. All right, let's go upstairs and get that unit. You heard me talking about that Alden 32 out at Catalina. This is the owner, Ron, better known as Captain Ron around here. But he's going to help me lift this thing in. Yeah, like that. Just. Whoops. Okay. Yep. Perfect. I think the whole thing needs to slide this way. So, ooh.
Just barely.
Is it gonna go? That's as far as it's gonna go.
All the support there, yeah.
So, I got a couple of options. I can move this support over quite a few inches. I can move this over here. I can unscrew that and just move it over this way. There's nothing blocking me from moving it over a few inches. This is the inlet. That'll fit. This, though, is the condensation drain, and it's not going to reach because it needs to go right there. So I'm going to have to go get another barb and extend that. I mean, that's minor details. I'll go get a barb. And then this is the inlet from the pump. So I think I can move it to like right there.
Just like that.
Yep, just like that. Perfect. It was just like that, huh?
And it was padded.
I don't think it was strapped in anywhere.
Shipping somewhere. Because that's pretty, either that or...
I'm going to be really bummed if it's broken. Let's see.
Where was it, this one?
Right there.
It's on
I
this
think
side
it's
of the
okay.
capacitor. It'll be all right.
I think it's okay.
Yes,
I can
yeah.
bend that back easy enough.
Yeah.
So that's done. This will help. I have no idea how I'm going to tighten this. Where there's a will, there's a way. I should have put this on before we dropped it in, but I wasn't sure I was going to use that drain hole. All right, next step is to cut these drain holes down to size. So then I'm going to use this piece to extend the condensation pan drain. Should be just enough. That will go on there. Perfect. Yeah, buddy. That is good to go. Put a couple of hose clamps on that. This will be the inlet. Before I do that one, I'm going to put the drain on. That's good. That's a winner chicken dinner, man. All right. I'm not sure if you can see what I'm working with in here, but let me get some light on it. So, unfortunately, the issue that I have is that the drain lines and the the condensation pan is way down there. Let's see if I can show you that gray one right there is the condensation pan drain. I think you can see that. And I've got to get this line on there. And you can see it was too short. So I put a barb in, extended it. This line right here is the water inlet from the pump, from the raw water pump. It's going to go right there. This is the one I just put in. That's the outlet for the raw water. So that's done. I just need to put some hose clamps on it. And then this one goes on, then this one goes on, and then we can wire it all up. Super excited to be getting this done because we are in the middle of winter, and although we don't get much of a winter here in Southern California, it would be nice to have a little bit of heat. And man, in the summertime, is this going to be nice to have. Let's see how I can get this done. This is a bit of an exercise of human origami, trying to squeeze myself into this little spot. Let's see how I can get this done. Sure wish I was left-handed sometimes. Wow. Just don't have any room to work. I think I got it going now. There we go. We're in business now. We are in business. Sweet. Done. Ooh, man. When it's all done, it's going to look pretty clean. All right, on to the next step of the project. We need to wire this thing up. It should go fairly easily. So this is the line for the thermostat. And then after we get this done, we have the soft start that we're also going to be installing. All right, next step. The old thermostat is right up there. I'm going to take that out and replace it with a new one and hopefully fish that wire up without too much difficulty. Yep, there we go. Tape that on like so and fish it up. Okay. Look at that. I'm thinking I want to use this. Will it fit? Yes, it will. Perfect. Time to wire this thing up and make it work.
How do I get merch?
Right now you gotta ask me for it. Yeah, so if anybody wants a t-shirt, just ask. I'll sell you one. So we do have a wiring schematic on the back cover of the control box. Get the ground first. Let's see. One. We are very close to turning this thing on and seeing if it works. All right, it's wired up. I think it's time to find out if it actually works. And let's turn the seatcock on. Make sure we don't get any leaks. I hear the water. I don't see any leaks. And you want to go flip that breaker for me? Let's see if this thing works or not. Yep.
On.
I got power. Let's see what it does. I got power. So if I turn it on, it comes right up with the temperature. It's running. It works. Oh, that's so cool. We got AC. I'm gonna go check outside and make sure we got water flow. So yeah, we got water running. That's good. Freaking awesome. It's done. I got my AC back. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thermostat mounted. Man, that AC works good. Now that we got the AC running, we need to install the EasyStart that will reduce the amount of electricity required to start the AC. So, it's the last step in the process. Once we get this installed, we can clean up the install of the control box. We'll get this mounted and that mounted on the bulkhead, and then we can start closing everything up and move on to other projects. But this is a big deal, and it's helpful not just on a boat, but at your house as well. If you have a home AC, central AC at your house, this will save you a lot of heartache down the road. So they're not very expensive, they're very easy to install, and we're going to get after it right now. So the first step in installing this thing, we've only got 4 wires that we're dealing with. These 4 right here, right there. The first one that we've got to deal with is the common wire from the compressor to the capacitor. So I've disconnected the white wire from the compressor, and I've got several wires, and 2 of them are white going to the capacitor, and I think that this is the one that I need to be connecting to. So I'm just going to use my multimeter. I'll just check continuity on that wire. And sure enough, I know that that's the correct wire. So now that I've got that wire identified, the first thing I need to do is connect this white wire to that brown wire. So I'm just going to clip this connector off of this white wire, leaving as much as I can possibly keep. I'll strip that wire back just a little bit. And I'm going to connect it using a Wago connector. right here to this brown wire. And these Waco connectors are awesome. You just flip this little tab up, stick it in, and close the lever. That's all there is to it. A little tug, make sure that it's connected. Easy peasy. Now, I need to run this wire back to that C terminal on my run capacitor. Give it a little tug, make sure it's good. I'm going to make a wire that'll go from here to that little Wago connector, and then we'll go from there. If you look at these Wago connectors, they all say Wago 221, but if you inspect the side of it right here, it's going to be hard to see on the camera. All of these Wago connectors, here, let me grab one. If I take one of these Wago connectors out of the box, they all say Wago 221 connector. On the side of them, though, it will give you a wire size, an AWG gauge size that they can accept, but it also gives a volt and amp rating. You need to make sure when you're replacing these or using these that you have one that's capable of supporting the amperage and voltage that you're working with. Not all of them are the same. But we're almost there. This wire I had to extend. I didn't have any more orange wire, so I used a black wire. But this goes down to the Herm terminal. All right, I had to switch cameras because my battery went dead. The last wire that we have to connect are these two. And then we also had to disconnect this, what's it called? It's called a PTCR. It's basically a start relay for the capacitor. It's Dometic's version of an EasyStart, but what I'm installing is much more efficient than that. So we just removed those two wires. I'm going to clip them off and get them out of the way. I think I'm just going to use a regular crimp connector on this line. It's just as easy. Help if I grab the right tool. Give that a good crimp and make sure it's in there really well. All right, let's get that shrunk down. And we are done. Next thing I'm going to do is just check all the wiring, make sure that I have it all connected correctly. And then the one thing that we have to do is start and stop the compressor 5 times. And it goes into a program mode where it actually adjusts. This thing will actually adjust itself for the unit. Let's try it. Look at that. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. One thing the manual will tell you is that a steady green light right there in the EasyStart is what you want to see. All right, we've made the 5 restarts that the manual called for, and we got everything mounted in here. And this is the final installation. What do you think? I think it came out really nice, and we now have a working AC unit up in the forward salon. Let's move on. All right, one more project now that we got the AC done. Vanishing Point has a whole bunch of cigarette lighter plugs, and I have purchased some USB charging ports, and we're going to go around the boat and we're going to replace all of them. I've got about 6 of them here. Now that we've got all those done, this is what we have in each stateroom. Push a little button, you got 2 USB-C plugs and a USB plug, and you can turn that off so you don't have a night light in here.